Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Ikeberg Latuche, and today we're talking about to-do lists and questions. So, there have been some studies out there that have pretty much supported the idea that we only have so much working memory. Our short-term memory can only really hold about 7 plus or minus 2 bits of information. That is 5 to 9 pieces of information. We also like to chunk said information. It's easier to process small groups of information than larger groups. And those two things in mind kind of explain telephone numbers as far as keeping small groupings together that are easier to process, and then keeping it short enough that it's easy to remember, or actually able to be remembered, for that matter. That being said, there was also some studies out there, one specifically with some servers, where they would remember the food in an order that was placed until the food was delivered. And I believe they have some other supporting evidence out there as well to show that we essentially will sit on a task or a question and keep that in our mind until it's complete. It's kind of like an earworm whenever you have a song stuck in your head. One of those tricks to kind of get that out is to actually go and listen to that song, because basically it's almost like your brain's trying to complete the song, but it can't really complete it. So if you listen the whole way through, that'll a lot of times eliminate that for you. But those things being said, the idea here would be then to limit your to-do list to 5 to 9 items and to add some effort into what you're doing for the to-do list. So specifically to write down the questions by hand is preferable. There's a law of effort on that. You putting more effort into it and spending more time on the thought by writing it out is likely to keep you remembering said task. Additionally, if you track it in any other way, you're more likely to remember it. But it's more about the effort there. So if you just think it, not as likely to remember it. If you say it out loud, do a voice memo, maybe type it out, a lot more likely to remember it. And then even more so if you actually write it by hand. And you can always combine these to even add more effort into that and more pieces of sensory data to try to remember that with. That being said, you can additionally try to leverage some curiosity then and phrase things as questions instead. I know this at least works for me in that if you put down, I have to do this, 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 and that, it may feel a little bit daunting, where if you instead phrase it, how long is it going to take me to finish blank? What out of these 5 things can I get done within this time frame? Something along those lines. And you can kind of focus on framing specific questions, more likely what's and how questions, to leverage your curiosity in that moment to propel you forward with it. Either way, the point being here that if you focus on keeping your to-do list short, but actually write them down, and you leverage some curiosity out of that, you're more likely to get these things done. And again, 5 to 9 items, and write it down. Ask yourself, what or how, and you'd be surprised at how much you can get done. One last note on that as well, as far as to-do lists are concerned. It also helps to actually schedule something specifically. So trying to say, I'm going to do this at this specific time, in this specific place. Adding more information to it, that added effort, again, will be make you more likely to actually commit to the said thing. And if you get to the end of the day and say you had those 5 to 9 things, and now they're still stuck in your mind, you can't go to bed, you can always reschedule them for another date and actually write that out, and it'll help your brain unload that a little bit, so you can potentially go to sleep and then try to process it again the next day. So, y'all know how the buttons work. I hope you found those useful. You can press them if you want. Don't if you don't. Either way is okay with me. I wish you all happiness and freedom from suffering. Thank you again. My name is Eckenberg Latuche. Tell your friends.